which is following through on commitments, right? But with passion. Like if you actually want them to be successful.
Okay.
And that is an issue I feel in real estate all the time. We talk about it in marketing. We talk about it with Jovani's podcast. If you're just checking the boxes, what is the difference between checking the boxes and actually following through in a commitment?
That's a great question.
You mean like going through the motions?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the thing is like everybody always has a way for you to do real estate. They have books, they have coaches, they have all these people. And it's like, all right, call 10 people a day. And what do? Literally call 10 people a day and do nothing. No, there's an actual there's a method to the madness. Method to the madness. There's a goal to what you're trying to do. Go door knocking, and all these people are always do this whole door knocking stuff, right? Okay, go door knocking and what? Ask people, what are you doing door knocking? They don't know. They're just door knocking, And so yeah, it's true. Everybody just checks the boxes, like you're saying. That nobody's really getting to the actual meat and potatoes of the.
There you go.
Okay, but you don't think that this issue comes back to the brokerage, maybe?
It does. It comes back to the brokerage.
Let's say if I'm a new agent and, from the get-go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And if I don't have anybody that is guiding me, I mean, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we were talking on our Tuesday meeting or with Jovani's team actually, I think on Monday, and I've heard an agent during the interviews bring out sometimes I feel like brokerages just dump a bucket of knowledge on me and they give me way more information than I can handle. And I didn't feel that Jovani's meeting was overly complicated, but I also didn't feel like the engagement was there from the realtors. So I was giving them some feedback or trying to have communications with Jovani, one of my managers, and asking him, when we're having these conversations, can we ask them questions in the training to make sure that they're engaging and understanding properly? So we had two of the guys that stayed after kind of hung out, and they were like, well, I don't feel like it went over my head. I feel like I understood it. But those guys went and wrote a letter this week or went to go do their marketing pitch this week and had none of the principles that we have on our strategic kind of marketing plan.
I think that's the issue. And this is an issue that I personally have with my kids. Like at school, I tell my kids, if you don't ask questions, you're not going to learn anything. And that's how I see it in life. Jovani can attest to this. I ask questions all the time. If there's something that I'm not sure, I'm calling people. I'm calling Jovani, I'm calling you, I'm calling Nate. Mm-hmm. And that is something that probably, 95% of agents don't do.
They can't. They don't have access. They don't have access to a sales manager. They don't have access to a broker. And now they don't have access to team leaders because the team leaders are trying to figure out how to survive in this new market.
There you go. That is the answer. But the thing is, if they want to ask, or even if they feel like they don't understand something, whenever they have the resources, like whenever you have the trainings, even at that point, I feel like nobody asks questions.
No one brings up the important questions that I would like. Everyone wants to wait. So what I'm assuming now, and maybe you guys can answer, from being closer to that, is it an embarrassment thing? Are people embarrassed to ask the questions or don't want to look dumb in front of the class?
The thing is that we're living in an era of information.
And perfection.
Everybody has access to a lot of information. And it's so easy for you to open up your social media in the morning and hear some popular quote, maybe some poetry, even affirmations. It's easy for you to see these things. You even see some people that go on there and they're like, if you really want to be a great leader, you have to read this book, this book, this book, and this book, right? And they have essentially satisfied your goal for that day. They've fulfilled you for that day because you feel like, I got it. I figured it out. If I read these 4 books, I'm going to be awesome. And you're right, be careful with fake friends or give affirmations or whatever it is that quote gave them for that day, right? And since they have that, now we have a lot of people walking around with a lot of knowledge that doesn't pertain to them, their lifestyle, or their sphere of friends. And it just like you said, that's why they don't ask questions. Why would they ask you a question if they have it figured out? They already know. They don't need it. They don't need to ask you a question. I already know. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. Whatever that means. But go ahead.
I don't know that that's appropriate.
So let's get to the meat and potatoes, right? What does that mean?
For what?
Like, what should somebody be asking?
And I think I've spoken this before, right? What a person should be asking is, what do I want to do, right? What am I looking for in life? Not who do I want to be like, or what do I want to be like? It's like, what do I want to do? It's just there's just some things that you're not meant for.
I agree with that. 100%.
I'm not meant to be a soccer player. I'm not meant to be, I'm never going to be, backpacking through Europe. That's just something that I'm not going to do. And people do that because they feel somebody on TikTok, somebody on social media told them that's what they have to do. How many people did you see went to Tulum by themselves to read a book and, unwind and just whatever? I don't know. It was like some kind of spiritual thing that people were doing, right? And that's just something that they were told to do, travel. Oh, you got to travel, and that was just something they were told to do that they should do, right? But what did they really do? Nobody's doing what they want to do. They are doing what they feel they should be doing.
I feel like you're giving the answer right there. You're telling us that everyone nowadays on social media is getting told what to do,
yeah,
but nobody is really teaching what to do.
Yeah.
Even when we're teaching, people are still not listening. And I can see it in the way that their marketing pitches are getting put together the moment that our training is done. And what I've realized is that when we have our one-on-ones, they're asking the questions that I wish they would have asked in front of the class. So everybody could have gotten the answers. And that's why I was asking, does that come from an emotional, I don't want to seem unknowledgeable in front of my peers. I don't want to seem like I'm unprepared, or I don't want to seem like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I think that's one of the most important things that I can say, that it's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to, ask questions. It's okay to lean on your business partners, your associates, and the brokers that you're in. That's why you're there.
Yeah.
And actually, we welcome it, because if you're having that issue, 9 times out of 10, your neighbor's having that issue as well. Right?
And I've actually fell victim to this before, right? Like, I see somebody on social media, and I like what they're doing, and they look successful, right? And they contact me and say, hey, you know what? I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. I want to join your brokerage, whatever, And so I'll set up an interview with Vick, and then, Vick doesn't hire them, and I'm like, bro, why are you not hiring him? This person is awesome. And what do you usually tell me?
What I tell them is, they're not saying the things that will fit the culture here. They're not taking themselves seriously. They're not taking the business serious, and they're not even saying that they are looking to get better or be better. They're just, and it's a difference. I've seen some people want to give up in real estate, but they're still saying the right things, and I know that they're not successful because of their coach or their mentor or their brokerage. And I can see past all the BS to know that you're a good agent or you're a good person. This is good business for you. Right? And that I'd be the one to take you there. And I've done it over and over. But there's just some people that I already see, no matter what I tell them at every turn, they're going to have all the answers. They're not going to want to do the work, and they may be a little too far gone. We used to have the time to break them in a little bit and really let them kind of fall and catch them, and then teach them how to do it our way. But we no longer have that time. So I'm having to hire people that already have the qualities that can fit in here, that I can help build around. And those are the people that we're looking for. So it comes down to really what you want out of life and what you want yourself to be and where you see yourself at. I don't need you to be a Flor. I don't need you to be a Jovani. I need you to be you, and I want you to have your own plan. And they may look similar, There may be another ranch person. There may be, another east of Houston. There may be those things. But are you willing to put the work in? Because we know, right? And I think you guys could say, how difficult is it to stick to a area and days in, days out through the highs and the lows to overcome that? You guys could talk about how difficult it is and what it takes to stay in that.
And that's actually something that I always hear, my whole career, it's like, hey, can I shadow you? Hey, can I go see what you're doing? Can I be under? And I always tell them, no, you can't. You can shadow me if you want to. I said, but you're gonna learn anything. I said, because you can't do what I do, because what I do, it was time, it's effort, it's experience. I said, I can give you the principles of what I do, right? And you're gonna be your own person in your own way. But it's going to take a lot of time, effort, and work from your part, And people don't understand that. People think that a lot of people think that I'm holding back, or I'm keeping some kind of secret, or I'm trying, to gatekeep, how you say, and it's not. It's just, a lot of times, and sometimes people feel like, oh man, you spend a lot of time with this person, or spend a lot of time with that person, and the thing is that some people get it, and some people understand. And some people are in the right direction, and those are the people I want to surround myself with, and that I want to give my time and effort to.
I'm willing to spend time with anybody that wants it and wants to grow and wants to be better. You can be around me all day, but if you're around me and you have no motion and you're not going anywhere and you're not pushing yourself, then I don't have a place for you, because I will make you uncomfortable. You won't have a place here. It's going to be in there.
So you're saying basically that in order, kind of for an agent to be successful is knowing their why, their reasoning, why they're doing this since the get-go.
Absolutely.
Have to have it. You can't do anything in this business without knowing why. Because enthusiasm runs out, and willpower runs out. Your drive runs out. There needs to be, I don't know if it's a good analogy to say the carrot at the end of the stick or the light at the end of the tunnel, or I don't know what's a good analogy to say, but you have to have that one thing. And if you don't have it, you're not going to survive. You're not going to last. And you have to be surrounded by the right people. You have to have the right people around you that tell you, no, suck it up. I've been there. Keep going. You're almost there.
What do you think about that, Jovani?
So there's this conversation that we had, me and Flor actually, just like a few weeks ago. We were talking about, Flor told me that whenever she was interviewing to get on here with us, she had asked me to shadow me, right? And at first, when I first got into this business, I was against it. But
he straight up said no.
Yeah. But the reason why I was against it is because I didn't have a strategy on what I was doing and how I was doing, so I couldn't teach her. I was just doing what I do and what feels natural to me and how I could close and how I close people. I'm always super informational based. So, you guys can go back to my YouTube videos that I've had. I haven't taken them down. They're always been super information based, knowledgeable. I hadn't done a flip then, but I could walk you through the steps that you should.
Where can we find these YouTube
on
videos?
my YouTube?
What's it called?
On my YouTube?
What's the name?
Jovani Frank.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can go back there, scroll all the way down. They're like, 7 years now. So it's like my very first ones. I even have videos on how to get your license, right? I'm information based because I watch YouTube all the time. It's the way that I learn. So I don't know if that would have worked for Flor. And I didn't even know how to do that because it's not something that I would have told her to do. It's just what comes natural to me. But she brought up a great point. She wanted to shadow somebody so she could learn how to do the business. I am a strong believer that if this is a legitimate career, this is a legitimate business, you should be able to shadow somebody to learn how to do this business. Probably not your manager, not your broker. Well, more than likely your manager, but not your broker or the higher up manager. Because yes, they have a different role in the business, right? You're not coming in to be a broker, coming in to be a realtor. But another realtor in the business you should be able to follow that realtor, especially if they're in management, and you should be able to learn how to do the business because they're doing business as well. At least that's the conversation that we had because that's what Flor wanted from us. Luckily, Flor found her spot, which is good, but again, right, like if we were to bring in another realtor here and I was to give her to Flor couldn't teach another realtor to do what she does because it's what comes naturally to her.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you guys could tell me otherwise, but in any business, any career, there should be certain steps you should be able to take to become a successful person, whether you have the personality for it or not. And even if you don't have the want for it, there should be steps you can follow to at least close a few deals.
We've addressed a lot of those concerns here at Lionsgate Realty. We have taken the steps of setting up managers that are in those day-to-day roles, because we've had so many people that want to shadow us. And all the time, it's always, let me shadow you, and literally, you're not going to learn a single thing. You're going to think that I'm crazy because I'm on the phone, like back. You're going to be like, what work do you actually do?
You think we do nothing.
Yeah, and we're on the phone all day, but little do you know that between those phone calls and those text messages and those meetings, we're helping the company put up 6, 7, 8 night listings. We're closing. We're paying. I mean, there's the amount of things that we're doing. I can't even. I mean, what am I supposed to tell you every second? Oh, look, hey, I'm gonna communicate with this person. By the time I'm thinking about it and doing a million things, it's gonna go out of the way. But we've set it up in a way here where your manager is a producing manager, is a superstar agent, is making money, is following our marketing plan, and is committed to something. And they're going to be able to teach you that step by step in their experience on how they're doing it, right? Which is why we're able to pick something like Farm and Ranch and see that through and give you the full support, or pick your new channel or your new and see that through. Whatever avenue that we decide to take, because the game is always changing. Right, and sometimes you do have to reinvent yourself to make a little bit more money and to turn things around. And the moment that you do that, to have a brokerage and a team to support you, that's what we're willing to give you. But to shadow me, there's nothing that I'm going to give you there. There's no value there.
I can definitely attest to what you just said. I remember whenever I first started, my niche has always been farm and ranch, and I was like so excited about it. And then Nate had to sit down with me and said, "Hey, you're not going to live like out of it. Like, you have to, yes, keep that as your niche, but do something else." And luckily, I had that conversation with him, at the early beginnings of me being a realtor, and I work on that. And I feel like that is definitely the perfect balance that has helped me, being productive.
Yeah.
And I think we always talk about a baseline, right? We always say real estate is up and down. Our goal is to be right in the middle, no matter where the market is. And I think it'd be a great conversation to give realtors an understanding of what their baseline should be. Anything above that to take you to the next level is great, right? But a realtor who doesn't have no personality, who doesn't have a network, who doesn't have anything coming into this business and wants to build something, what should their baseline look like?
What I use as a baseline is always their salary of previous jobs that they've had. My goal is to match their salary from where they've been before. So if they were at a company making $25,000 a year, or if they're making $32,000 a year, that's what I use as a baseline. And I break it down into how many houses, right? The way I break that down specifically, I have them select the zip code, I have them select the zone, I get the average sales price of the homes in that area, and I come out with the average commission. Right now, once we get their commission split and everything, I negotiate, or I figure out how many houses they're going to need to close to match last year's salary, and that is their baseline. Now, while they're building that baseline, whatever marketing approaches or tactics that they use, I'm game. If you want to cold call, if you want to door knock, if you want to do networking events, if you want to do a pumpkin patch, if you want to do photo shoots, if you want to give out frisbees at the dog park, if you want to go on a beer run, join whatever you want to do, I got you. Let's do it. Let's go. Right? I'm trying to figure out how to get you to those 7 deals, 6, 7, 8 deals, whatever the number is. And once we get there, we start tracking what marketing tactics work. And as we figure out what marketing tactics work, we double down on that the following year, and we start adding on the things that maybe we could have spent a little more time on. And the idea is that within 2, 3 year one, you're matching last year's salary, so you didn't take a pay cut. You're feeling better. If we operate correctly, then you're winning. And then year 2, you're building on top of that, plus you're getting referrals. Year 3, you're already in the money, and things are flowing a little easier, right? And this is why we say we create longevity here, and the game plan is long-term here.
Yeah.
We're teaching you from inception to keep clients and build your business and have a stable career. The hardest part for realtors is to live within those means, because you guys start getting crazy.
But what's always been interesting to me, right, or lately, right, because I've been in this business pre social media, right, and so so, back then people came into this business, tried their best and their hardest to make money, and if they didn't make money, they left the business, or they would keep their license active to close their own deals or whatever, right? And when social media hit, it was just so interesting to me, right? That people were, it was a trade-off. Like, people were more interested in being paid attention than actually getting paid. And I couldn't grasp that concept. I was like, no, you can make so much money here. Why are you wasting your time trying to grab attention, trying to grab likes, And we flew that kid in, right? From the valley, right? And it was, he just represents exactly what.
Which kid? Hold on.
Oh, the kid that
No.
Nate flew in a 15-year-old from McAllen.
So there's this social media guy, right? In McAllen, right? And so I don't know, you're familiar with McAllen, with the whole, social media thing down there. They're wild, right? They just post anything and everything. And so
that's everywhere.
Yeah, well, somebody posted, like pretty much put somebody on blast, which is uncommon. Not just in real estate, but it's uncommon in the valley for somebody to put somebody on blast, right? Like, literally, like, put their video and made fun. I don't want to say made fun of it. He just pointed out the inconsistencies, right, or what he saw, and I agreed with it. And I agreed with it. Turned out that the broker, or not even a broker, she's just team leader. The team leader got super upset that I agreed with the kid, or that I put a like on it. And she came at me and went after one of my realtors in the valley and made fun of him, right? Or whatever, And so I brought that kid to our office, and we did a video. And the reason that I did that was because this kid, sees what everybody else that is not in the industry sees, right? He's like, what are you doing? Why are y'all dancing around a sign? Why are y'all in a dirty car? Why are you cussing? Why are you doing these crazy things for attention? If you're, this kid sees that a house is expensive. If I want to go buy a house, why would I go to somebody acting a fool to help me buy a home? And so I just thought that was just in my opinion, it was a breath of fresh air, and it was a view from a different perspective, because we've been in this business and we see it every day. So to us, we've kind of grown numb to it, I guess, or
Yeah.
we just see it. We're like, oh, okay, and it shouldn't be that way.
I do say it all the time. The realtors follow other realtors, so they think that a lot of things are okay, or they think that they're posting too much, or they think that they're annoying because they're annoyed by the realtors posting every day. The average consumer is not following 50 realtors, 60 realtors. They're following maybe one or two. 9 times out of 10, those people are excited to see your posts. All my clients, really good friends with them. We support each other. I'm excited for them. If you're building your business right, if you're doing your follow-ups, and you're not just, like every other realtor, just only answering their call because, you feel that you saw a divorce or something, then if you're actually following up, you're actually building your relationships, you're actually talking to people, then it's okay. You don't look like you're just selling to people. They get to know you. Everyone has a job. Everyone posts about their work, I'm not trying to convince you to buy a house off of a post. I'm just building the relationship. We're just sharing, life. My life just happens to be real estate. So I think it's something to consider. Just because we see a lot of crazy things on real estate and we think it's okay, or we kind of turn a blind eye to it, doesn't mean that the average consumer will.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that we have to copy that.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Exactly. So what are some good tidbits for somebody who is looking to stick through it? I guess final thoughts here, because we got our heart out. So for somebody who's looking to stick through it, but they might be having a hard time at the moment, what would be some good tidbits for them?
I've never had a mentor or a coach or anything, but lately I subscribed to this guy, right? And he coaches me every day. He says that my social media is garbage. Don't be posting that. Do this, don't do that. And he's kind of kept me kind of honest. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm not posting as much. I'm not talking as crazy online and stuff like that. So I think that not throwing shots at other realtors is really good right now, and of course, being humble and be willing to listen to somebody else, right? When it comes to your social media, because see, somebody that's looking outside, looking in and sees your social media, he's looking at it from a he has no interest in this, right? It doesn't matter if you have likes or not. He doesn't care, So if he's telling you, hey, you know what, your social media is kind of bland, or your social media, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, or it doesn't fit with this, or you look bad doing that. You should take it with some humility and try to step it up and try to get to that next level, because things are changing and we need to change with the times.
Vic?
My advice to agents that are sticking it out and trying to stay in this business and continue to grow and prosper is create your niche, pick your market, double down on it. There's a lot of people that left. There's going to be a lot of wide open space. If with the right game plan, you can really execute. You can really kill it. We have a lot of new agents right now that don't know any better because they weren't in this market during COVID. They weren't selling on interest rates. They weren't selling on enthusiasm. They're just learning how to sell because there's always a need there. So the thing is, identify what you're looking for and execute.
Flor?
Oh man, I'll say to identify, find your why since the beginning, and why you're doing this. What is your end goal? What you got yourself into this? If you have that clear since the beginning, you're not going to be lazy. You're going to be, asking the right questions, and you're going to reach that goal.
True. And I will leave you guys with a quote from one of our greatest philosophers in our lifetime, Kanye. It is, it's not that I'm not right. I'm just not right now. So
There
you'll
you
be right
go.
in the future.
There you go. I love it.
Yay.
Claps for Kanye and Jovani.
It's G.
Yeah.
Yay. Yay.
J or G, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.